from the station working for you. This is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
A proposal to inject more than $7 million into Metro Police's budget is now moving forward. Now at 4:30, reaction from those against the increase and how they believe the money should be used. A dip in the number of ICU beds available in our state, while state health officials say there's no cause for concern just yet. And Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris face off for their first and only debate last night. A look at the highlights this morning and what's next for both campaigns. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday, October the 8th. I'm Rafael Sanchez. My good friend, Lauren Casey, I hope, is sleeping in. And look, let me just clear my glasses. Is that Todd Clausen that I see here in Studio A? Todd, good morning and welcome back.
Yeah, it was good to be back. Spent some time with the family up in Michigan, Rafael, which is always a good thing, and celebrated the birthday here earlier this week. But good to be back with you as always as well. It's a nice quiet morning for us here on this Thursday, starting off with temperatures in the 50s. The winds are calm and the skies are completely clear, and it's going to really be another terrific day for us. Very similar to yesterday. The exception, and it's a good thing, is it's not going to be as windy across the area today as it was during the day yesterday, especially in the evening hours with some of those gusts. Temperatures this morning are in the 40s to the north, 50s from Indianapolis to the south, 51 in Bloomington, but it's 47 in Peru. So definitely need the light jacket, but that's going to be the status quo here going forward throughout the remainder of the fall season for the most part. And as we expand out, you can see it's completely clear. The closest clouds well down to our south. So as you grab the sunglasses as you walk out the door, you can shed the coat pretty quickly here this morning as we'll warm through the 50s by 10 a.m. into the 70s as we head into the afternoon hours. We'll talk more about the rest of today and look ahead to the weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, it is great to have you back. As you check your traffic this morning, a big good morning to Lebanon, Carmel, and Franklin. We're taking a live look right now at I-70 near the I-65 North Split. As you can see, traffic is moving very smoothly and slowly this morning. No accidents or slowdowns on the interstates at this moment. In the news, a proposal to increase IMPD's budget is headed now for a final vote in the City County Council. The Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee approved that plan last night. Now, last month, the city requested an additional $7.7 million in funding. They say that money will be used to hire more officers, add body cameras, and be used for other equipment and legal settlements. Several citizens who attended that meeting expressed frustration and anger after the committee's decision.
The police have a $261 million budget, and people can't pay their rent. We have a wait list right now for people to be able to get rental assistance. They didn't allocate a single dollar into community. They live with these people, but instead of protecting and upholding the integrity of their work, instead of upholding and protecting the integrity of their neighbors, they decided that they wanted to uphold white supremacy today.
They're squandering the money they already have. So defund the police and reallocate that money to the communities that actually need it.
A 4th District Councilor Ethan Evans says he agrees that it's important to dedicate resources to the community.
Well, I'm all for expanding, the additional ways to get more mental health care in the community, get more rapid response for, mental health, people in mental health crises in the community. I just feel that, we should be, finding alternative ways to do it that might not include having public safety officers in those runs all the time.
The committee also heard from the police department about the IMPD Health and Hospital Corporation team. The goal is to provide enhanced training, resources, and improved responses to situations involving behavioral health issues. The program will be implemented in 3 phases. An amendment to that budget will require oversight from the council. The full council will vote on that proposal this upcoming Monday. Meanwhile, IMPD is testing a new neighborhood app. Relay, it's called, is designed for non-emergency situations. You can report things like suspicious activity and vandalism. There's also an option to upload pictures and videos. Officers can then respond to those messages in real time. The goal is to be able to connect better and faster with people.
What it really allows for is that direct interaction between a citizen and the officer who works in the area that they live. So you kind of get to know the officers that patrol your area. They get to know the people that live in it. It kind of helps to bridge those relationships and establish that rapport.
Right now, that program is being piloted in the North District. Metro Police says the Relay app does not take the place of 911 or 311. The time now is 4:35, and this morning COVID-19 cases and deaths are on the rise in our state. State health officials report 17 new deaths from the virus. To date, 3,500 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. Another 227 are believed to have died from the virus based on their diagnosis. State health officials also report 1,302 additional cases of coronavirus. This brings the total number of people infected with COVID-19 to 128,227 so far. The state's 7-day positivity rate is steadily climbing. Right now, it stands at 5%. State health leaders are also continuing to keep a very close eye on our hospital resources. Now, when discussing a dip in the number of ICU beds available, here's what State Health Commissioner Christina Box had to say.
We are seeing ICU bed capacity shrink in some areas of the state. Most of these areas already had smaller number of ICU beds available and are seeing increased need for ICU beds, but not just for COVID illnesses. But we cannot make a direct comparison to overall hospitalizations earlier in the year. Early in the year, there were no elective procedures in the hospitals, but now there are. And we know more about the virus than we did in April, and our systems are better equipped to handle them now than they were at that time.
Dr. Box went on to say that the state is continuing to keep a close eye on hospital resources as we get further into the flu season to ensure facilities will not be overwhelmed. We also received an update on the school dashboard. 400 additional schools have inputted data into that dashboard. That brings the total number of schools reporting into the dashboard to 1,755. Of those, 944 have reported one or more cases of COVID-19. As you can see, just under 2,000 students have tested positive for the coronavirus in our state. State health leaders say of those cases, the highest percentage is of students between the ages of 10 and 19. The state is continuing to work with schools to improve accuracy of this dashboard. An antibody treatment Eli Lilly and Company is now testing has shown to be effective in reducing levels of the virus that causes COVID-19. The company announced the result of a study on Wednesday. Now, Lilly says the monoclonal antibody treatment appears to prevent patients from visiting the ER or hospital. Those types of antibodies are synthetic versions of the ones that our immune system uses to fight off the disease. Lilly had previously released results for a similar treatment using a different antibody. Now, the company says using a combination of both appeared to reduce the amount of virus in nasal swabs of patients after 11 days. The results are similar to ones that Regeneron presented last week. Now, that's the treatment given to President Trump while he was being treated for COVID-19. Indiana's COVID numbers are still a cause for concern in the Windy City. You see, Chicago health officials say they may add our state to its emergency travel order. That order requires people entering that city from COVID-19 hotspots to quarantine for 14 days. Officials say Indiana is now on a warning list, and Chicago residents are strongly advised not to travel to Indiana. Chicago adds a state to its emergency travel order if it averages more than 15 cases per 100,000 residents over a 7-day period. Now, Indiana has exceeded that threshold, but Chicago officials gave the state a week for COVID-19 rates to improve. The time now is 4:38. Turning now to the vice presidential debate, the showdown between Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris was different, both in style and substance compared to last week's presidential debate. The matchup punctuated by a plastic divider as an added safety measure as the coronavirus pandemic looms over this election. Now, Harris put the focus on President Trump, criticizing his administration's handling of the virus, and Pence, meanwhile, he painted Harris as a progressive by highlighting her past support for the Green New Deal and Medicare for All legislation.
They knew what was happening and they didn't tell you. We have seen a pattern with this administration, which is they don't believe in science. And Joe's plan is about saying we're going to deal with it, but we're also going to create jobs.
From the very first day, President Donald Trump has put the health of America first. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris consistently talk about mandates, and not just mandates with the coronavirus, but a government takeover of health care,
Thank you.
the Green New Deal, all government control.
The candidates also faced off in their policies on police reform, climate change, as well as the economy. You can watch the full debate on our website right now at WRTV.com. The presidential race isn't the only one on the ballot this November. The race for Indiana's 5th congressional district is open right now. A chunk of our viewing area is within the 5th district. Now that includes parts of Marion County, Hamilton County, part of Boone County, Madison, Tipton, Grant, and Blackford counties. The incumbent Susan Brooks is retiring. Now, we sat down with the Libertarian nominee, Ken Tucker. For 11 years, Tucker taught children in Noblesville. His current focus is raising his 2 daughters. For the last 5 years, he's been a stay-at-home dad. He's not asking for or accepting donations. For him, the key issues include education, equality, and the environment.
Whether it's the Black Lives Matter movement of today or being a father of 2 young daughters and understanding that the world's not, our free world is not equal to them in terms of stopping anything, whether it's, the coronavirus or even, racism. It all kind of starts at home. It starts from practicing, good hygiene and practicing good human being-ism, right? People aren't born racist.
Also on the ballot for Indiana's 5th congressional district race are Democratic nominee Christina Hale and Republican nominee Victoria Spartz. You can see our full interviews with all 3 candidates for the 5th district online right now at WRTV.com. And now to our Democracy 2020 coverage. A federal appeals court upheld a ruling affirming Indiana's current limits on absentee voting by mail. A group of voters had sued the state in an effort to expand the list of reasons to qualify to vote by absentee ballot. The appeals court cited the fact that Indiana already offers about a dozen reasons to request an absentee ballot, plus several weeks of in-person early voting as reasons to uphold Indiana's current limits on voting by mail. We have everything that you need to know right now about that November election and all the resources available on our website, WRTV.com. There you can find the important dates, rules, and information on the candidates you should know about before you cast your ballot. Again, that's all at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. More than 30 cases of COVID-19 are now being linked to the White House. Straight ahead, the latest from Washington as the Trump administration faces new criticism from the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine. Plus, the Gulf Coast facing another threat of another major hurricane this morning. Coming up, we're tracking Hurricane Delta's path. But first, let's check your forecast right now with Look Who's Back. Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning to you. We may have some minor impacts from Delta as we get closer to the weekend here in central Indiana, but today, another beautiful day with above normal temperatures and lots of sunshine and not as windy as it was as yesterday. We'll break not only today down for you, but look ahead to that weekend forecast as well. Coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 4:42. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 4:45. The coronavirus outbreak at the White House is growing. An internal memo reveals that at least 34 people have now tested positive for the virus. And this morning, the Trump administration now facing unprecedented criticism from the New England Journal of Medicine. ABC's Andrea Fujiji joins us now with the very latest.
This morning, the coronavirus outbreak at the White House growing. An internal memo obtained by ABC News revealing at least 34 people have now tested positive, up from 24 Wednesday afternoon. And now another top military official is positive after attending a meeting with the Joint Chiefs. General Gary Thomas is second in command of the Marine Corps. All but one of the Joint Chiefs are now in isolation after Coast Guard Admiral Charles Ray tested positive. Meanwhile, President Trump returning to the Oval Office Wednesday. His doctors saying the president has been symptom-free for over 24 hours. The president releasing this video from the White House.
I want everybody to be given the same treatment as your president because I feel great. I feel like perfect.
But the White House now facing unprecedented criticism from the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine over the administration's handling of the pandemic, writing in a scathing editorial that U.S. leaders have taken a crisis and turned it into a tragedy. 32 states and territories are now seeing a rise in COVID cases. Some areas of the country are now facing new closures and restrictions.
We are dealing with a health emergency. The state has laid down very clear rules. Everyone must follow those rules.
In Boston, schools now pausing their reopening plans. A new forecast predicts New England, the New York City area, and Oregon could see the most concerning rates of infection in the next month if conditions stay the same.
We could have from 300,000 to 400,000 deaths. That would be just so tragic if that happens.
And now Wisconsin, opening a field hospital at the state fairgrounds after a record number of hospitalizations. More criticism of the White House from the CDC's former director, calling the administration's handling of the pandemic a slaughter. The White House responding, saying that every decision at the CDC has been data-driven. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
4:48, we go from politics to a powerful storm. Right now, Hurricane Delta aiming straight for the already hard-hit United States Gulf Coast. The storm is currently a Category 2, but expected to strengthen as it makes its way to the shore. More than 10,000 homes were destroyed by Hurricane Laura at the end of August in southwest Louisiana. And now states of emergencies have been declared in that state as well as in Alabama and Mississippi. Delta could catapult 2020 into having one of the billion-dollar disasters in U.S. history.
It's been a very active season. This is the 8th storm in the Gulf of Mexico, which is, really a record for us.
The hurricane season has not went away. We still got about almost a couple of months before hurricane season is over with.
Right now, Delta's projected path looks similar to that of Hurricane Laura, which made landfall in Louisiana as a Category 4 storm back on August the 27th, leaving 15 people dead. And this morning, Indiana's Task Force 1 has been activated once again to help support rescue and relief efforts in the Gulf Coast. The 35-member team will leave today. Now, their location has not been determined just yet. They were last deployed last month to help with hurricane relief efforts in Louisiana after Hurricane Sally hit the Gulf. And Todd, it does not seem like the Gulf can get a break this hurricane season, but here we go again. Everyone's just bracing for the possible worst.
Yeah, and it's potentially going to be a major hurricane, Category 3 or higher, as it does make landfall there in the Gulf Coast as we get into tomorrow. And then on Saturday, we have not been able to get much in the way of rainfall from those hurricanes or tropical systems that have made their way through the Gulf of Mexico. And this one, for the most part, is going to stay to our south as well. More on that in just a minute. 53 degrees outside right now. Completely quiet and calm here across central Indiana. The wind has died down from yesterday. The skies are completely clear, and we have that nice seasonable temperature for you here in the 40s and 50s. You need to grab the jacket as you get going today. 48 in Greencastle, 47 the current temperature in Tipton. Martinsville at 55 degrees, 46 is the current temperature as you make your way over into the Richmond area. And we're kind of just on the border with what we'll call relatively mild air for this time of year to the south, and then the cooler temperatures as you work your way into northern locations. And we'll, for the most part, stay at or above normal for the next couple days, at least for high temperatures in the afternoon hours. And today is completely sun-filled once again from start to finish. We're in the 50s here this morning, and by the time we get to about 10, 11 o'clock, we should see those temperatures jump up into the 60s, and then we're into the low 70s here by the time we get to the noon hour, and then mid-70s for your high temperature for the day today. Our average high is only in the upper 60s now this time of year, so we're going to be well above normal. Get out there and enjoy this sunshine with the clear skies this morning, and in the afternoon hours we expand out and you really don't see anything at all. We'll drop down here into the Gulf of Mexico, and here is Delta. It's now crossed the Yucatan Peninsula. It's back over the warm waters of the Gulf. It's going to start to make its turn up towards Louisiana as we go throughout the day. Today, landfall should be tomorrow into early Saturday, and then Saturday's the day we'll target here in central Indiana for some of those impacts, and that would be some cloud cover across the area and maybe a few hit or miss showers. This evening, 70s still at 7 p.m., then cooling into the 60s fairly quick, and by midnight your temperature's down to 58 degrees. Tomorrow you're waking up to temperatures very similar to what we have out there right now, 40s and 50s across the area. And then for the day tomorrow, as we round out the work week, we start off mostly sunny, turn it partly cloudy. High temperatures will be up near 80 degrees for the day tomorrow. It's a warm day for us. And as we continue into the weekend, Saturday, there's definitely more in the way of cloud cover around, and probably only about a 20 to 30% chance of some showers in far southern locations, and then better shower chances in the forecast, albeit just kind of hit or miss showers, no big time rains heading our way Sunday through Tuesday of next week. Raphael.
Get! There he is. Ah!
So the virus is not the only unwelcome guest invading the White House. Coming up, what made that reporter lose his cool? And coming up, all new at 5. A local organization is stepping up to help families that are struggling during this pandemic. Ahead on Good Morning Indiana, how you can get involved. On this Thursday, October the 8th, thank you for starting your day right here on WRTV.
Get! There he is. Ah!
That'll do it. There's also a major infestation at the White House, and we're not talking about the coronavirus, as you may know. It also appears there's a vermin problem. There's an invasion of raccoons crawling around the media cables of the White House lawn, sniffing out bags of gear. One even making a beeline for CNN's, as you just saw, Joe Johns, in the middle of a live shot there. Law enforcement is on the hunt, spotlighting the masked bandits with their flashlights. Dogs have joined the search. Even broomsticks have been deployed. But that's not stopping the critters. One ended up in a Secret Service security shack. Now, don't do that. Don't cross that line. So naturally, it's time to cue the raccoon gifts. And in social media fashion, that White House raccoon even created its own Twitter account. You know, that's the way to do it. But listen, raccoons are vicious, Todd.
Yeah.
I had a couple at my home, and Mrs. Sanchez and I had to call a wildlife hunter, and I mean, those raccoons, don't mess with them.
Yeah.
I'm just
Don't
saying.
get close to them.
Yeah, they will bite you.
Oh, yeah. They're not the friendly folk, that's for sure. All right. Outside today, we have a friendly forecast for you, though, with lots of sunshine. Highs in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, up to 80 degrees with mostly sunny skies. So we continue to run well above normal before we start to bring some scattered showers back into the forecast, maybe in southern locations on Saturday, but better shower chances starting for everybody on Sunday. The time now, 4:58. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes right here on Good Morning Indiana.